Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Find a Way podcast with Dusty. We're on our walk this morning, and I figure we've got some time to talk about the skin surgery. So this is going to be, or try to be, an all-encompassing experience 6 weeks in. So that way, if you're considering surgery, have had surgery, or you're just inquiring on what this whole process has been about, hopefully this will help and calm the minds. I know that surgery in general is what a lot of us are leery of. Some of us potentially won't even go through the weight loss surgery if that's an option from your doctor because of the hesitation with surgery. And it's completely valid. So you're carrying those concerns potentially over to skin surgery because you've lost a bunch of weight and you've got some loose skin that needs to be surgically removed. Unlike what they say out there, with certain teas or certain ways and processes will completely eliminate your loose skin. If you get over a certain amount of weight, for me, from what I've seen, if you get over 325, 350, you're going to have a substantial amount of loose skin that would need to be surgically removed if you're not happy living with either a bottom little hanging skin pouch, or if you get over 400 pounds, there's probably going to be a lot of excess skin. Even though you might lose all the fat and there's loose skin there, and it's not as obvious, in order for it to be straight and probably something that you want to see without loose skin, it's surgical removal is likely the way to go. So my experience is I have gone through 3 to 5 different consultations for surgery. So I didn't just pick one and go with that one. It was 3 to 5 different consultations, and actually different states. California, I had 2 or 3, and then Tennessee, I had 2 or 3. And since I'm a resident in Tennessee now, that's where I chose to get it done. Now, I had 2 procedures that were recommended. First, the 360. Essentially what they would do was just cut from my hip all the way and drag everything down, stitch it, and essentially remove all the loose skin. And then the chest would be pretty much the same. They would essentially remove the chest all the way to my armpit area and then take that skin off. So the chest has kind of been the universal same procedure they've recommended because, I mean, it's just, there's a drooping and they're just looking to remove that skin. Now, the reason I mention that is that the midsection has actually been different. The other recommendation I had was called the fleur-de-lis, which is hip to hip up the middle, or a potential 360 up the middle. So what that would mean is that they would cut the incision a complete 360 around my body, but then they would also make a vertical incision up. Now that vertical incision essentially would be made first diagonally, probably from right below or right where your chest bone is, that middle chest bone, all the way to your hip. It's almost like a curtain, if you think about it. They're cutting the extra skin that's in the middle of your stomach, and they're essentially removing that and tightening it in. It depends on where you carried most of your weight, and it depends on where a majority of the concern is, or additional fat or additional skin is. Because of the because the amount of weight that I lost, 300 pounds, and where I carried a majority of my weight, no matter what I could have done, I carried a lot of weight in my upper stomach area. So that was a very highly loose skin kind of problematic area. So I almost had to, and I'm sure I could have done 360, you can do whatever you want, but if I did the 360, it wouldn't have addressed that middle loose skin area. So I had to get the fleur-de-lis. Now I didn't get the 360 because my back wasn't as much of a need as the front. And so the front essentially was hip to hip, up the middle. They cut a portion like a curtain, and they cut whatever drooped on my midsection. That all amounted to 12 pounds. And so I was given quotes from anything from 15 to 20, but that would include my chest and my upper obliques underneath my armpit. And so it could be, 15, 16 pounds once I get my chest done. But as of right now, I've only had the fleur-de-lis. And so since I've only had that procedure so far, the amount of weight that came off from that surgery was only 12 pounds. The remaining could be there, and I'll of course update when I get there. I have a tractor right next to me, so if you hear that, my apologies. I'm on my morning walk, so I figured that'd be the best time. All right, so 3 to 4 consultations. You want to build a connection with the doctor on those 3 to 5, or try to find who you have the best connection with and who has the most knowledge. Everyone's going to give you their 2 cents on what they've done, but you want to see their prior work. You want to see what they've done before. Have they worked with, if you're a male, a female, have they worked with your body type before? What is the experience that they've had? How knowledgeable? How many years? And the 3 to 5 is going to allow you to feel good, I would say. You're going to get a feel for the doctor. You're going to get a feel for the connection and the relationship that you have. If something at any point doesn't sit right, you got to step away. Even though it all lines up of, man, that's the person that I want doing. If something doesn't line up, you got to walk away. The reason I say that is that I had a doctor out of Florida that I was going to have my surgery with, and it was actually connected to a TV show called Awake on TLC. So I was going to be on TV, and my whole process of loose skin removal was going to be on TV. Now, am I saving any money or getting any money for this? No. I completely would have paid this exact same going on the Awake TV show versus getting it done through my insurance and then out of pocket. So first, that was just concerning. They had talked about me having the surgery and then getting on a plane right after. And I'm like, what about blood clots? What about the concern about this or that? None of that was considered. So I just had a bad feeling, so I stepped away. And I'm so glad that I did. That TV show had a couple of episodes, but it just didn't feel right, and I'm glad I went with my gut. I had another doctor that was I'm just a tick mark. I'm just I felt like an assembly line surgery, and it did feel personal. It didn't feel like the doctor knew me, my concerns, why I'm getting this. And if I'm getting a surgery that is completely alter my life, but also is going to be quite a bit out of pocket, as well as quite a bit through my insurance, I'm going to have some reservations on being an assembly line surgery. I'm very much going to be interested in being the person that is not special to that, but that doctor knows me. That doctor knows what I'm worried about. Hey, I want to be able to take my shirt off eventually and go to the beach and not have immediate onlookers at my size or, because the extra skin, take my shirt off, everyone's like, whoa. I want to be able to work out, have a loose skin surgery, and be able to take off my shirt, and there's just no second looks. Or I can be with my kids, I can play with my kids at the beach, and there's no concern about, the focus isn't on me. And it's always been on me. Not in like, oh, look, focus is, no, unwanted attention. Going into Subway and a little girl's pulling on mom's shirt. Mom, that guy's really big. Like, I don't want to cause it, just kind of want to be a background. Because I've been the focus for so long, walking into a room, walking into a restaurant, going on a plane. I'm always the focused attention, and I just didn't want to be. So that's really important. Build a connection, build something with someone, and see what procedure they're recommending with your schedule. I had a doctor recommend 3 separate surgeries for something that every other doctor was like, no, this could be done in 1. If you want to split it out in 2 to ease your recovery, we can split it out in 2. It's like, okay. But this, he wanted to do 3. I'm not sure if he was trying to milk the anesthesiologist fee, hospital check-in fee. I'm not sure, but it just didn't click. And so that's where, for me, another one of the meetings that I had was just making it very clear that that was not the doctor that I wanted to go with or the person that I wanted to proceed with. There's no stop sign there. Some funky cars around here. Ooh, they're honking too. Hi. So that's important. So now the process of getting approved, I actually had to go through my insurance, and there was some out of pocket. So depending on where you're at, I just talked to somebody who's in Canada asking questions about it, overseas, here in the States. For me here in the States, I went through insurance, but then there was a portion of what the insurance would cover and a portion that the insurance would not cover. So you've got to be prepared financially to say, hey, what is going to be the impact? Will insurance cover it? Now, in regards to how to get insurance to cover it, their big concern is something that is hindering your life or causing rash or problems. So I had a lot of rashes underneath the laps of my skin. I had a lot of problems with my moisture and stuff like that. So anytime I got a rash, anytime I got any kind of redness, anything, I sent pictures over to I sent pictures to my Dropbox, or I have a Dropbox folder that is strictly just my problematic skin areas. So when I finally decided on a doctor for them to actually proceed to go with a surgeon, or when I proceeded with a surgeon and they were going to submit it to insurance, then I sent all those pictures, and because I had documented pictures all along the way, I'm talking like 30 pictures of different angles of issues that I've had. The insurance company covered a lot more than they typically do. There was a portion, of course, they did not cover. A lot of it is cosmetic when it comes to your chest and underneath your armpit. Sometimes they may cover, but I know with my chest, that's completely out of pocket, and it's just something that I'm doing a GoFundMe for to potentially get in the future. But I got a lot covered, but I did definitely have a lot of out of pocket, which I did a GoFundMe for. And for some of you that are listening that contributed to that, you made this dream come true of having my loose skin gone. So, anytime I share a photo or you see a comment about inspiring others through the process of me healing, recovering, that's connected to you. It's not just me inspiring someone because of what I've been through, but you made that possible. So just a separate little side note of thank you, especially with making kind of this happen, but also helping inspire others on the recovery of their journey as well. So, are at the point of deciding on doctors, the feel good of what you've got with that particular doctor, but then next, documenting your issues so that insurance potentially would cover it. Well, now you get to the actual surgery. It's booked. So, what kind of things are you going to do ahead of time to get ready for it? Now, you're going to have to know that you're going to be down 6 to 8 weeks to where you're not going to be able to likely work for the first 2 weeks, but also no physical activity, working out, anything besides walking, which I'm doing now, for 6 to 8 weeks. So if you have some really dedicated regimen in the gym, you're going to have to put that on hold. So being prepared for that. You're going to need somebody with you. You're going to need someone to assist. The first 3 weeks, you absolutely need somebody with you, right by your side to help with the little things to the big things, from grabbing something in the other room to helping you get up to using the restroom. You've got to be able to rely on somebody, and I wouldn't have been successful in my particular journey unless my wife was there helping me along the way, and she still helps today. And I'm going to have to counterbalance all the help she's given by doing triple the amount of work around the house, because she's just been holding it all down, which has been remarkable. So definitely plan ahead of time in regards to getting support, knowing that you're going to be off for weeks at a time, and that mentally you're going to have to go through quite the obstacle of you're in pain, you're hurting, and you can't change that right away. You can take medication, but they'll only give you a certain amount of medication, not enough to really make it all go away. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to like how you feel, and you're just going to want to be done. Mentally, you're going to just want to check out. So get ready ahead of time for what you're going to occupy yourself with during that downtime. Is it a book? Is it something online? Is it a series? Is it a TV show? I mean, got to have something that distracts you. And I think that's what's been really helpful for me is distractions during this recovery process, that I haven't been as laser focused on getting back in the gym and rushing back. I've been really distracted. I've really been occupied with a lot of the things that I planned on doing during this downtime, just because I typically work, 9 to 5. I work a lot. I have a pretty committed job to where I need to keep my focus on, and I can't pull away too much. And so these past 6 weeks, I've been able to completely pull away and start focusing on things that I had planned on ahead of time. So that's really important to know. Get your mental focus in an area where you've got something that you're distracted with during the downtime, because that's going to be very, it's going to be tough. It doesn't mean you're not going to have tough times mentally. I know I'm still going through moments where it's like, man, am I going to get back into this? It's just, you go through low moments, but you got to remind yourself that it's not going to last, and that you're going to eventually get back to your normal routine. So this episode is actually going to be quite a bit longer. There's quite a bit more. So we've kind of talked about the pre-surgery. I'll go into some additional pre-amounts, but then I'll actually go into the surgery itself and the experience on the next episode, just because my walk is just finishing up. But I will conclude this on a future episode, maybe on tomorrow's walk of the week or the day after. And we'll talk about the next process or next part then. But thanks for listening to this episode. Hopefully it helped assist and help guide and help encourage you on your journey. And morning. And I will talk to you all soon. Take care.